Yeah, yeah, yeah. Question
Okay, okay. Pan African Daily TV, we are live and we want to do a testing. We want to do a testing, broadcasting live from the studio on the continent, particularly in Cameroon, Cameroon, Yaounde. So we want to find out if there's some people who are still awake, and if anyone is watching us on this channel, please let us know. All right, I can find, I think, 6 people already watching us. That's good. Where you watching from? I'd like to see your comments in the chat. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I audible? What about the lighting? Can you see me all? Because right here in the studio is very small. Mr. Paul Green, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the first person on the chat, as if you were just waiting. Of course, you did send me a message the other day saying, hey, my queen, you have to come back. We're missing you. We have 25 people watching from Brooklyn and from South Sudan. Okay. Wow, let me just know where you're watching. I can see travel. You're watching from Ghana, that I know. Please leave a comment. Can you see me clearly? And the image is good. Don't worry about the lightings because we're still trying to set the lightings, but we just wanted to know if you can hear me, if we are audible, if the sound is clear. From Cambodia, you're watching. From Uganda, you're watching. From Arkansas, wow. I know you guys miss me. I miss you too. Can see and hear you. Wonderful. Oh, look at the king from Antigua, from Caribbeans. You're watching clear and loud. Thank you, Isiko Mohammed. Thank you so very much. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Oh, Maurice, you're watching from Nigeria. Wonderful. And someone is watching me from the UK, from Detroit, Michigan. Tennessee is also here, and from Cameroon as well. Wow. I'm also sending you love, my queen. Africa United, you're watching from the United States. This is good. Now, as you can see, oh wow, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're watching from Facebook, okay? We only connected on our 2 platforms tonight, like I said. We arrived on the continent 2 weeks ago, precisely in Yaounde, the capital city of Cameroon. And we've been going around trying to, take a look at the whole atmosphere. As you know, the situation in Cameroon is getting much, much better than before. So tonight is the first day that we wanted to start our studios testing because we're gonna start going live as from tomorrow if everything works perfect. If you tell me we're good to go, so we're gonna start getting our guests. There's just a lot to talk about. There's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of projects coming on. Today you saw me just posted that the first ever Jamaican born has been crowned a paramount king in Nigeria. These are all conversations that we've been talking about. Like, why do the Chinese go get such access on the continent and they made kings? And some are even being carried up in the name of developmental projects. So it is the best things that we've been drumming back, that Africans take your place on the positions on the continent. And yes, today we just getting this news from a Jamaican born, the first in history, crowned a paramount king in Nigeria. So that's very good news. That's very good news. Yes, I still miss a lot of people here. The Pan African Daily TV executive young team. I'm not getting them here. I'm not seeing them. Patrick Kasrim. I'm also not seeing you. Um, I don't know who else. Buffalo Soldier. That's it. That's it. That's it. King Ian Joseph. Thank you. Thank you. I send you love also from the people of Cameroon. Everything is very calm here. Yaounde is cold. The weather is nice. But the challenge that we have here, people, is internet connection, load shedding, just like in South Africa. Okay. We're having the same situation in Cameroon. There's some rains in some part of the country right now. Like I was in Bamenda, you all know I'm a Bamenda village girl. And so there was so much rains out there. But when we came back now to Yaounde, Yaounde is having a temperature, I think if I want to compare it, to almost like 26, 27, 28 degrees sometimes, okay, which is very normal on the continent, as you know. Um, yes, so people, there's been a lot going on the continent, just so much. And we've been suspending all these conversations. I mean, you've been hearing some great Pan African leaders speaking out clean and clear. I mean, we shared conversations from Professor Pielo Lumumba on the situation in Kenya after the elections. We also been sharing, if you didn't watch it on Pan African Daily TV, you definitely have watched it on Make Africa Great. You definitely have watched this conversation on Swahili Nations and Go Black to Africa. These are the channels that are actually bringing the actuality on the continent. And you've heard the president of Kenya coming up really in strong terms. President of Uganda also lecturing Pan Africans about the mistakes that they did in the past and trying to actually educate the continent. Now, this is exactly what is going on when we started the Pan African Daily TV and we said the leaders must listen to us. They must hear our voices. Okay, they must listen. And the Africa we want by Africans for Africa, it is taking a huge turn. I'm currently on the continent, and you know, when I'm on the continent, I had a conversation with Professor Paul, James Paul, 2 days ago, and I said, just stay there, because that's where the work is. That's where we're gonna be cracking very, very hard, as you all know. So I want to thank you for signing in. I want to thank you spontaneously. I mean, this is really incredible. This shows me that all of you are subscribed and put on your notification bells. So the moment I dash live, you're already here. Okay? And you can see I'm getting darker, I'm getting younger and fresher. Because the continent is just so good. Everything is organic. But honestly speaking, the continent is also being misguided by all these Western NGOs bringing all these pesticides on the continent. So sometimes you even buy something, you think that this is organic, but before you know it, it's been tampered with. And that's the position where we've been talking and hitting hard on for the past times, that we keep saying that how are we going to keep this continent free, the agricultural sector free from pesticide? How are we going to quit eating GMOs? And if the continent itself, motherland, has been tampered with, our soil, our products, our seeds, then where else are we going to run to in future? So it is critical. That's why we're encouraging the diaspora to come home. And now I'm here, the medium, your voice, okay, your Pan African coin is here, right now on the continent. Everything that you want to know is going to be brought to you live on the Pan African Daily, okay? And so, yes, we would be doing some research. We started already talking to young people, trying to put young people together, get their feeling about what, in East Africa, the story is different. I was in Tanzania, and in Tanzania, things were really good. Everything was fine. I mean, like, you see, the youth actually know what Pan Africanism is. The youth, they got it in Tanzania. Okay, they got it. Okay, I mean, I can say it is 100%, but the youth in East Africa are most conscious. I think because of the leadership, because of the language, because they follow the Pan African Daily, because Make Africa Great YouTube channel is actually, monitored, and content that is created is a Tanzanian youth. So we're trying to build these platforms also. Cameroon, I'm still trying to search young YouTubers that are actually, preaching the Pan-African gospel of one Africa, one currency, okay, one language, one passport, and of course, one everything that we used to be. All right. So South Africa is also coming up very great. I love South African Pan Africans. They're following on, and I think one of the reasons why South Africa is doing pretty well in terms of mindset conscious education is because first they have the great, powerful Julius Malema, His Excellency, Honorable. So each voice that is brought on the ground, on the platform, that is on the ground makes a lot of difference. You that are watching me, whether you're watching me from Ghana, you're watching me from Nigeria, You're watching me from Cameroon. You're watching me from the Caribbean. You're watching me from everywhere. It is time for us to continue to drum and drum very hard. Okay? So I hope this test was okay, that you could hear me and that you could follow me. Currently, there are 28 watching, but if I see from my back screen here, we're closely, and like I said, it's just, yes, happy samba, happy samba. That's what we need to start doing. Okay, that's exactly what we need to start doing. Drumming the Pan African, one Africa, for Africa by Africans worldwide, one Africa. That music is never going to stop until we get it, until we achieve it, until we are on point, until every African youth. The potentials on this country is crazy. The potentials on this continent is, I cannot even say it. Born and bred and raised up here. But it's like I'm rediscovering a lot of potentials. But the one thing that is actually not happening is the mindset education, the mindset conscious education, the pre-colonial African history. Africans don't know it on the continent. We in the diaspora, we're good to go. We're really good to go on cultural identity, like our able professors are saying, your identity or your culture is shackled to your identity. These are conversations that we don't hear it here in Cameroon. We don't hear it daily. We don't hear people talking about it. We don't see gatherings about it. It's just life as usual. Most often they talking mostly about, things that are actually out of context. So we are going to start a platform in Cameroon, the Pan African Daily TV platform, just like we started in the other countries. And we have to start making this noise really, really loud. Okay? So I hope all of you are listening. Thank you, Jan Habok. You say, Sister, where have you been? I've been here. Like you can see, I'm on. And when I come on, things happen. All right? Sometimes it was very necessary that we pull back and we observe a lot, we research a lot, we do a lot of things, and then we come back in a very powerful way. Okay? So I'm thanking you so much. I'm thanking you so much. Thanking you so much for connecting. As you can see, the interruption in the background, the noise, the conversations, the in the background. That's what we are testing here from Pan African Daily. So we are going to start a series on Cameroon because there's an upcoming event coming up. I already posted. And then we are going to start to talk about the African Caribbean relationship, taking into consideration that more Jamaicans, Caribbeans are relocating to the continent. We used to think they were the African Americans that is the majority, but from what we see now, no, the majority is actually the Caribbeans. The Caribbeans are moving to the continent, and there are a lot of destinations that actually we don't. It's not broadcasted. It should not be broadcasted, but they are coming in a lot, a lot. Most are settling in Nigeria, like we know. Most are also in the Sierra Leone, and most of them are also, in some other parts that we don't want to openly talk about it here. So I want to encourage you, my young executive, the youth of the continent. And like I said before, I'm so proud what I'm seeing here. The youths are hustling. They're hustling a lot. But what I was disappointed the other day, I drove past the Chinese embassy and I saw a whole lot of line of young people waiting to get a visa. I don't know whether they're going for business or they're relocating or they're leaving the continent. I could not stop to ask or get feedbacks from them, but I just think that our young people are getting it. They are getting more interested in the developments on the continent, in the intertrade relationships. I talked to some young people, I talked to some other people, and a lot of them are actually, building projects here. They're buying land like crazy. We are going to start with this king that is crowned in Nigeria. I talked to him today. I could see a whole lot of agricultural settlements that he's doing. And he said, Dr. Tata, I have only one goal, to bring my people home. And the fact that I was given this entitlement, as the Igwe, we call her the Jama, the Jama Igwe, the Jamaican Igwe. Igwe is a very noble title in the people of Nigerians. If you're given an Igwe, you are equivalent to a chief. And a chief is not just a kind of. I saw somebody said in the comment this afternoon, like, what are all these titles and all these things about? What is it of use? We started the Pan African Daily, and we saw a lot of Chinese that were going in on the continent and being crowned by the royals in their communities and their villages. And what were they looking for? They were looking for land and minerals, and to connect and do business with the chiefs. And we talked about it. A couple of times, me and King Maponga coming on the show a couple of times to say, "Hey, Africans, you have to come home. You have to come home, claim your continent, take the land, manage your resources, lead by examples." Sometimes we sit and we criticize, we talk a lot, but less is being done. Okay, so a lot of people are actually waking up, and it's the point where we have to do more. We have to do more. I'm not quite sure if really I would have to be displaced anymore, because actually what we need is here. There's, there's a lot of disinformation, but there's also a lot of miseducation. There is a lack of a center to bring back the diaspora skills. And when I talk about skills, it's just a little bit to teach the young people on the continent what the diaspora is all about. How to travel, why should you travel, why should you leave your continent, and how you should travel properly. Now we've been hearing Professor Pierre Olumumba talking all the time about the fourth industrial revolution that is coming. Is Africa going to be left behind? Those are the questions that the young people should know. And so we're amazed by the fact that they use their hands. All of them have gadgets, but what are they busy watching? Who are they following? Who are they listening to? Most of them don't even have a clue that the diaspora, when we talk about the diaspora, they're still thinking about, those that travel for studies or as refugees or seeking for greener pastures. And now when we start talking about Jamaicans relocating and being crowned paramount chiefs with the main objective to pave the way for our people, I can be more than grateful. I can be more than grateful. You understand? Like I said, it was just a test. I wanted to know how the image looks. We're avoiding our background settings because it's too heavy, and but we'll be testing all the possibilities when we go out in the field talking to young people, and I'm grooming a set of young people, building the platform. This, when I say young, they have to start from 12 years already. When I say young, it's not like young in Europe. In Europe, when we say people are 18 years of age, or when we talk about youth, we're talking about 20, 30. No, we are already starting. We're starting the education, the right education by Africans for Africans. Starting right here in Yaounde, Cameroon, where I'm sitting right now. Culture. Professor James Small, Dr. Leonard Jefferson, all our Pan-African scholars and heroes taught us one thing, and that we should never forget on the Pan-African Daily. It's culture. Our culture. Sheikh Anta Diop wrote about it. Kwame Nkrumah wrote about it. All the presidents, the Pan-African voices that have been talking about it is going back to our culture. And one thing that I've seen Cameroon doing that is very good is they have inculcated culture into the curriculum, of the school system. But now, the research that I would want us and Cameroonians to work on is what kind of education, what kind of culture. When we're talking about culture, What kind of culture is inculcated? Is this still the westernized culture? Is it still just saying I'm African because I'm the continent? Is it still the culture of not knowing who we are? What is the culture? So that is still another point of research where we still have to look into the curriculum when they talk about culture. When we say we are institutionalizing culture as one of the requirements on the African curriculum, then we have to look at this curriculum and look at what it entails when they talk about this culture. Because we see our great professors are out there that are ready to create a real curriculum for the African studies. You know, in America, the Sons of Africa started it in America when they started the Black Studies. And that is how our children even began to learn about Africa as the root, as the homeland, as where we all came from. Okay, but on the continent, people, it is another battle of just even knowing that you're an African on the continent. It's not enough. Culture, the education of culture. God is saying our identity is our culture. Exactly. That is the point. So right here in Cameroon, we have to establish a platform which is going to be like the headquarters to where we will now, expand into the other regions of Africa, into the other sectors of Africa and our diaspora. What I want from you, the support that we'll be looking from you, is all of you, the skilled diasporas, to come live, even if you cannot travel. You cannot travel, we do understand right now, but we are here putting up those infrastructures. So, like we have been saying in the Pan African, we're going to create a competence and a skills studies. Whether it's online, we'll be using all the technological platforms that we have to teach our people on the continent what it means to be African, what culture means to them. We're going to create a council of elders that will be teaching only on culture. What does it mean to be called an African? What does your culture mean to you? Does culture just mean wearing, traditional clothes? That's just one little aspect of it. But what does it entail if I wear all the traditional made clothes to brand my culture, but my brain is something else? I'm totally out. Okay, and I begin to tell these fabrics, oh no, it's a traditional and we wear it only on particular days and when we're going to particular ceremonies. Isn't it supposed to be a daily wear? Isn't it supposed to be a daily wear? But somebody who knows actually who they are would embrace this culture like it's supposed to be. So culture is the first prerequisite that opens up the mindset that we're talking about. Okay, we should love ourselves, yes, we should be part of the education, yes, but when we talk about culture, thank you, George. You're saying Al Kebulan, you have to stand as one. I'm from America, but I stand with you. We love you and we thank you, George. Thank you so much. Yes, of course, we have to stand as one. If I'm freezing, if I'm freezing, Lawrence, it's because the internet, like I said, is chopping up. That's why I want to take this conversation to about 30, 45 minutes to see how long the streams can go. Because we have a lot of guest speakers, we have a lot of voices that we've not been able to host, because of other activities and other engagements. But now we are ready for you. And you can see us live now, natural, in a natural setup, no polemics. Okay, and if you can hear me, I hear you. That's the best thing. If we can pull up the stream to 30, 45, 50 minutes without interruption of the internet, then we know we can be able to host our guest up till this length of time or even more. Okay, so I miss you guys so much, and I'm happy that you're connected in your numbers. I know you do miss us too on the Pan African Daily. Make sure that you are subscribing. Make sure that you are sharing, describe the videos that we are beginning to upload. Like I said, we'll be doing a documentary on the 100 most powerful conversations, and you can imagine how much conversations we're going to come up with. Okay, but also don't forget the trip with Professor James Small at the end of this month, beginning of August, to Ghana. I hope all of you are registering on this on to be a part of this journey, because that's the one thing. That is the one thing connecting us. I told Professor, please, our diaspora is very important that we take them back to motherland, but the diaspora is more conscious being African than Africans on the continent. So we being here, creating the platform, is also to make such trips, to do inter-African country trips. Most often when we talk about relocating or we talk about touring, we always look at the diaspora. The diaspora is so informed. The diaspora knows who they are. The diaspora know where they come from. They know the countries that their DNA is lining them up. And most of them are just picking up projects and supporting the continent in a massive way. That's a fact. Okay. Question is the continentals. How much more do they know about their history? How much more do they know about other countries? I talk to young people on the street, everywhere I am, they don't even have a clue. Okay, so that's how much we're talking about the education of the African by the African. Afrocentric curriculum is knowing who we are. If we don't know who we are, how can we even start talking about the Africa? Okay, so when we talk about our cultures, going to the origins of where we come from, we're going to see that all that we've been fighting, quarreling, and struggling to build, we already did it. Our ancestors did it. Our mothers did it. Our fathers did it. Our forefathers did it. And they are still doing it. Come to Cameroon, come to the continent. Look at young girls empowering their homes, building their communities, traders in the market, pushing up the economy. Even though the currency is not really circulating, but people are hustling. It is not 5 a.m. 4 a.m. You already hear the noise on the street. People buy and sell them, as in our proper terms. So the continentals just need a little bit of empowerment, and everything is good to go. So we have a couple of conferences that are coming up. One is coming up in South Africa in November. The youths of South Africa are saying, Pan African Daily, hey, we need you in South Africa. And we'll be in South Africa for a couple of 5 days or to 10 days. Okay, November. We're going to send out the flyer, so South Africa be ready for us. Uganda is also on the line. And Uganda's, we are ready for you too. Zimbabwe. So it's a whole lot of really going out, meeting these young people that are so energetic and are building the Africa that they want to see. It's amazing. It's amazing. We used to sit behind our cameras, like we say. We used to sit in the studios and just prophesy these things. But being on the ground, people, is the best thing. So if you look forward, like I saw a brother Yen saying, what is going to happen in Cameroon? I'll be there.